All right, all the Queen's Men fans, we are looking at episode 4, Looking at Trouble. 7 out of 10. Like episode 3, I thought this was a pretty solid episode. Synopsis: Madam's secrets seep from the grave and her father pays the cost. And if you recall the cliffhanger ending of episode 3, sheesh. Back at Eden, trouble hits the stage on amateur night as Amp contemplates life as a dancer. So, yeah, you could pretty much tell a bulk of this episode is going to focus on the club setting itself. I got my bullet points here in front of me. The concierge makes another appearance here. Let's see. Yeah, pretty solid. So make sure you take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the episode. Hit subscribe to help me close in on 200,000 before the end of the year. Hit the bell notification icon and select all because, well, why would you want to miss out when I post content? And follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. So yeah, it's kind of interesting how even though Alan's buried allegedly 6 feet under, it's like the secret of his murder is climbing out of the grave slowly but surely in every single episode. So yet again, we have Blue asking about when they're going to move this damn money because of the fact that it's not a wise move to keep it in a place like this. I mean, I believe Madam even said at some point she wants to open up a new club, but I understand from a perspective of like taxes and whatnot that I think the IRS, makes note of every few, is it like 5 to 7? It's like for every, like, there's a certain threshold of money, because when I started selling on eBay, I dealt with this. If you make under a certain amount of money, a threshold, you won't be taxed for it. But then if you make like, what is it, 600 or whatever, then yeah, basically once you hit a certain threshold, the IRS won't, if you hit a certain threshold, I apologize, I can't talk today, the IRS will hit you for it. So it's kind of like in the Pains, again, another Tyler Perry show, when I think it was Terrence who found like all that money at the laundromat and then Ella put it in the bank. It automatically was revealed, oh, based on the serial numbers, this money was stolen in a bank robbery. So it's like, yeah, if all this money gets turned into the bank, that could lead to some issues there. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun. It's kind of like you have all these different people surrounding Madam who play different roles. Oh, I want to get this person to be my lawyer. I want to potentially get this person to be in my pocket on the legal side, kind of like the Malones. When you're in a crime organization, you want to make sure you got certain people in the pocket. That way, if you run into trouble, you know who to call. But there's no like financial person. You got El Fuego, who's like the social media person. You got Midnight, who could be called on for like certain jobs. But with all that money sitting around, you don't have anybody who's really, in charge of it. I think later on we find out there's like an accountant or something. But I think it would really be a help. It's kind of like one of those writing faults of writing where a character is built up to have like everything covered, but there has to be one area that's a obvious area that needs somebody to be covering it, that's left vacant for the sake of the plot. It's kind of like in X-Men how Professor Xavier can't walk, and you have mutants with all sorts of power. But wait, isn't there like a mutant who has like healing powers that can make it so he can walk? So anyway, there's a dude named Ricky who gets pin slapped by Blue, and it's like, you better act right or go night-night. And I know Blue is a capable woman, but I did prefer in episode 1 where I think Roman got knocked out with some brass knuckles, but I guess because Blue has such a presence, Ricky kind of backed off. But you got Doc basically rinsing and repeating what he said from episode 3, trying to reassure Madam that he can handle his business whenever it, needs to be necessary, instead of walking out like he did after Alan was murdered. And he tries to kind of push up on Madam, who I believe quotes her father, which was also a quote from the Oval finale when Martin was chewing out Sam. in regards to not putting your dick in the cash register? I'm pretty sure, because I mentioned that in my episode review, as well as the video I did about Sam and Priscilla working it out. I remember pulling that clip, so I'm just like, I feel like if Tyler was writing the script, he was like, hey, Christian, like, there's this one line I put in the Oval season finale for season 2. I think it's going to fit right here, because Sam messed around with the first lady, but in this case, you got Doc wanting to mess around with Madam, and that's a big no-no. So say that line. Anyway, so we go over to Babyface and Miss Patty, and Miss Patty wants to be taken care of, and it's one of those situations where when you're a person who is being bankrolled by somebody, whenever they stop by, you shouldn't complain. It's like, what are you doing here? I'm busy. No, you get down and you do what you need to do. I mean, Babyface, I don't know what to say for you, except get your face down there where Miss Patty wants it to be. I mean, she's paying your way, so just shut up, do it, and then go on. Judge Ross comes in and wants Babyface in the back, because Babyface is being thrown around like a pacifier. Wait, that didn't sound right. It's like you got he has a lot of attention he doesn't want. You got Miss Patty who wants him, but then you got Judge Ross who oh Lord, I hope haven't said Judge Moss in like a couple episode reviews, but Judge Ross wants him as well, due to the fact that, hey, remember, I'm the one holding your child support situation in my hands, so you better get back to this private room. So obviously it seems like there's a bit of a triangle here between Miss Patty feeling jealous, calling him a hoe, but it's like, he's a male stripper, so I mean, like, when he's not tending to your needs, he's going to be tending to another person's needs. So I really don't see the need for Miss Patty to feel some sort of way about, Babyface giving attention to another paying customer. It's like I mentioned in another video, where if Miss Patty didn't want Babyface with anybody else, then why not just say, why don't you quit this job and, I'll support you and you just tend to my needs, I guess. But I don't know. And we find out the Judge Ross is actually married, but I guess when you reach a certain age, it doesn't matter. You want your needs attended to if your partner can't. Look, I'm not married, so I don't know. So the concierge Christian Keys calls Madam, saying your father is where Alan is, and this sadly, didn't end up the way I thought, because I thought he would be buried or something like that. It kind of gave me vibes to Black Lightning season, the final season, after Tobias whooped Jefferson's ass and then he buried him alive. I thought it would have been a situation like that where, oh my god, the father is buried in the same grave as Alan, or he's buried next to Alan. It's just one of those situations where I thought he was definitely sending a message, but I mean, what was the use of taking the father if he wasn't held for ransom or if you didn't kill him? So, okay. So we go over to Blue and Madam, and they, do their, I guess you could say, going through the men to check to see if they're, in top form for the night. And we got Trouble, who is up there for amateur night, because as the synopsis said, Trouble hits the stage on amateur night, and she is up there making it rain. And then Madam is second guessing whether or not she should have women dancers, because of the fact that Trouble's success inspires her to say, you know what, maybe we should put her on. So it's interesting how this person without a penis is making as much money to compete with the VIP strippers. And I think it's kind of a running thing in the show. Like, even though it's the same strippers every single episode, they do the introduction. But then again, I guess that makes sense, because sometimes you have new people in the club each night, so they might not know who the strippers are. So you want to give them an introduction. It's kind of like a television show. No matter how many times you watch the series, there's always going to be a theme song, unless they cut it like they did in the Didn't they do that in Family Matters? Like in the last season or two, they cut out the theme song and just had opening credits like appear on screen. It didn't really hit the same. So, we got Jean still asking Madam if she's talked to Alan about the deal. And again, as I mentioned in the episode 2 review, Alan is a person who ran a lot of the business, so if Alan hasn't been like seen or heard of in I guess a few days by now, wouldn't somebody be asking certain questions about whether or not something happened to him? So we got Kat, Blue's girlfriend, who's a police officer, still following up on the investigation. So it's almost as if Kat is kind of like covering up the tracks, like, or at the very least, she is basically the connection that Madam and Blue have to the police station, kind of like, hey, this is what they're saying about the investigation on Alan, basically, the middle woman, not middle man. So Amp is still, working at the door, but he's questioning, as it said in the synopsis, whether or not he would be more content as a stripper. Well, excuse me. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a jealousy thing, but he's probably seeing how much money the strippers are making and wonders if that should be what he's doing. And it turns out that Miss Patty's actually a lawyer, and it seems like Madam is starting to figure out the situation where, okay, I need to get a lawyer, family lawyer, and then I need to get the judge in my pocket, that way I can get custody of my father, because of the fact that I believe there's the mention of client attorney privilege, and they talk about things. So it's just one of those things where this episode, you really get a glimpse into what Madam's doing with the club in regards to ways to come into the present day, because remember, we almost see an evolution of her character. While some people might say it's a foregone conclusion, why not have women strippers? Because like maybe someday, or like you got the amateur night for rookie strippers or wannabe strippers, so why not have like a ladies night? And for the ladies night, simply say, hey, we're going to have female strippers for people who want to see female strippers to make more money. So it's one of those situations where you have to wonder what your business model is, how you can compete, because remember in episode 1, wasn't it established that Roman was a dude from a strip club either across the street or in the same location? And you kind of want to see what your competitors are doing, because of the fact that you could be missing out on key things that are making your club not make as much money as your other competitors. Just like with El Fuego and social media, you would think social media in 2020, I'll just say 2021, because the show was filmed I guess it takes place in 2021. You would think you would have your strip club advertised, buy some ads on Instagram or Facebook, or put out a newsletter, that way people know about it. But I don't know. Well, I'm just talking out my behind right now. But essentially, yeah, I think this episode pretty much did a good job at, I feel like any episode the Concierge is in, it just like seals the deal. I do feel like he should have been in more episodes this season, but I think he's around just enough where he's a man of mystery. But I do feel like overall, it would have been interesting if Madam's father was buried. Not necessarily dead, but just to send more of a stronger message. I guess this message was that we can, hit you where it hurts when we want to. You better watch out, I guess. But I guess another thing to consider is, how Amp is, finding it hard to find a legit job. And he was working the door, and he figures, what's the best way for me to make this money over 60 days? Let me go ahead and start stripping. So we'll see more of a evolution of his character in the next episode. But overall, that's really all I gotta say about this episode. It has more talk about money. We focus on Madam taking the next steps in order to build up a team to help her win custody of her father. I mean, I feel like the concierge situation of abducting her father made her want to get custody even more, because if I had custody of my dad, this would have never happened, even though technically speaking, because she killed Alan, that was the reason he was abducted from Carla's place to begin with. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I feel like as always, these episodes have a thing about fleshing out certain characters, some more than others, but like I said, it's only episode 4. But do you agree with my score of a 7 out of 10? I think this episode was pretty decent. Make sure you like and subscribe, as I mentioned earlier in the video, and if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, I will catch you in the next one.